conferences, piles of flyers, getting stuck on endless email lists, never-ending calls. There's an easier way to sort through and find the best school fundraisers. Simplify the search. School Zone Podcast proudly presents the 10 top school fundraising ideas for 2017. A guide of top fundraising companies hand-picked from the best podcasts. As an added bonus, it lists 5 awesome resource companies that would add tremendous value to your school and students. That's right, a guide to 10 top fundraising companies and 5 resource companies, all for one low price. Ready to simplify the search? Go to schoolzonepodcast.com/shop. Welcome to School Zone's School Fundraising Ideas Podcast. We interview top fundraising and resource companies to help you find a solution to your next school fundraising or school resource need. This week, we are highlighting 5 great fundraising and resource companies that you need to check out. Are you ready to simplify the search? Now, here's your host, Matt Miller.
Hello, School Zone Podcast listeners. Matt coming at you, San Jose, California at the San Jose Convention Center. I'm here with Heather Cours of Brick by Brick. Heather, thanks for coming into the School Zone.
Thanks for having us.
So tell us a little bit about you and why the heck you're here on a beautiful Friday in San Jose.
Well, I'm a mom. I've got 3 kids, and their ages are so far apart that I was part of our PTA for like 18 years at my elementary school. And one day a bunch of the moms were sitting there talking about how expensive school supplies had gotten. And I picked up a glue stick and I said, well, how many of these do you suppose we bring in every year? And the answer was like 2,500. And it was like, if we're using 2,500 glue sticks, why can't we order in bulk? Well, why can't we get a better price, pass the savings on to the families, or at least fundraise even for the school somehow? So the PTA president was sitting there and she said, well, if you want to try it, go for it. We'll help you. We'll do it. So I started with one school, and I went to Staples, and I went to Office Depot and Office Max at the time, and just kind of pitched the idea, if I could get a few schools behind me, would you guys give us bulk pricing? And Office Depot was really receptive. And so we started with the one district, actually, because word had gotten around. And I took that district, and essentially, if a school has lists, like a teacher has a list, your first grade class wants these supplies. We take those lists, we put them up on our site. A parent can go there, find their school, we have 6,800 schools in our database right now, find the school, find their grade, pop it up. We save like 50% off of retail, and it's delivered by Office Depot, or Staples now also works with us. And it's delivered within 2 business days to the home, and shipping's included. And it's about, like I said, 50 or 60% off retail. The school can add fundraising if they want and make it a fundraiser. And then the parents aren't having to go to Target and Walmart and all the places and they run out of and whatnot. And the more schools we add, the better pricing I can negotiate. So right now we average about 50 or 60% off retail, but the goal is to get it down to about 20 cents on the dollar. I mean, obviously people laugh when I say that, but I figure we're in 40 states right now, and if we get enough schools behind us, I don't know why it can't happen. So, I mean, that's pretty much it in a nutshell.
So that's incredible to think of this idea and start with one school and now be in as many schools as you are. What were you doing previously? How did that tie into what you're doing now, or was there any correlation at all?
Well, yeah, how did I become the Dunder Mifflin of school supplies? No, I had a construction company. I've always been self-employed. I've always been an entrepreneur type of thing. And I think my kids were starting to get older and go off to college, and I only had one left at home at that time. And I think it was just the challenge of it. It was like, why hasn't anybody done this before? I mean, it makes sense. I mean, education is the only equalizer, right? It's the only, truly. And although it should be included in our taxes in the state of California, for example, it's not. We have to bring supplies in, and it should be accessible to everybody. We should have, the pricing should be great. And I just think it's interesting to me that when you bring huge numbers together, that's when we have power. We can take the collective bargaining, if you will, of all of these schools and use that. So it was interesting. The very first time Office Depot I went and met with them, and they started taking me seriously. They had said, hey, well, bring your team in and meet with us. And I didn't have a team. It was just me. So I went back to the girls at the PTA, and I got like 3 of them. I said, just dress up. You don't have to say anything. I got one guy friend of mine who was a dad at Cub Scouts. And it was like, just dress up. Don't say anything. Just sit with me so that I could look bigger to make sure, to kind of have them believe that we could do this. And it worked out. And Office Depot, absolutely put a lot of faith in us and supported us. It was really nice. I'm glad they did. And then Staples just came to us recently and asked to work with us also. And all of a sudden, everybody who has Chromebooks wants Chromebooks now. So we do that with Staples right now as well. So it's nice to see it evolve, for sure.
Man, that is such a valuable lesson. And I'm an entrepreneur. You're an entrepreneur. A lot of folks listening aren't necessarily entrepreneurs. But sometimes, guys, you got to fake it till you make it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And if you ever doubt yourself, it's so funny because just think, why not? Why not me? Why not? All they can do is tell you no. So anytime I had this bold idea or go in and try to expand it, where now it went from the supplies would be shipped to a warehouse, and we would have volunteers, high school volunteers who would get volunteer hours to help us pack it and then get it to the school, to where we convinced Office Depot to deliver it directly to the home and stuff. And whatever you're going for, if all they can tell you is no, just why not? I ask for crazy things, and I'm so surprised when it happens. So that's my motto.
So how long have you been doing this now then?
7 years. This is my 7th year. Again, it started with the one district and grew from there. And it grew from, as I said, packing it all ourselves. And it's evolved every single year since then. Like, as you can imagine, Office Depot doesn't carry a lot of personal care. So like the Huggies wipes and Kleenex and hand sanitizer that the schools want that. We would get it from a wholesaler, bring it in, package it ourselves, get it to the schools. And this year, Office Depot took most of that over, but they still don't have a few items. But Staples is now in with us as well, and they'll cover everything. So everything goes to the student's home now, and that's a huge thing for us.
So talk a little bit more about the range of product. Like, how many SKUs do you guys have right now?
Well, we carry everything Office Depot and Staples carries. So tens of thousands of items. You can get anything you need. And but on our site, we'll carry like 400 items because it's too much database for us at this moment. But we can seriously get anything in either of those stores carry. And what's interesting, what I find is so funny, we have a deal with both companies that we get a store purchasing card that we can give to every PTA member, every teacher, every school across America that gives our price in store. You take that card and you go to any Office Depot or Office Max in the country and you get our price. And there's no contract to sign. There's no obligations with us. You just take the card and they scan it at the end and it changes to our price. So like, for example, we have just something as easy as those eraser caps. They're $1.19. Our price is 16 cents. Stuff like that where you'll save on thousands of items. But when we try to give it to schools, it's always like, well, what's in it? Wait, what's it costing me? What's the gimmick? What's the catch? And there's really not. The more people use that card, the higher sales we get. We don't make a penny on those cards or anything. The higher sales we get, the better negotiating we have for lower pricing for the school supplies that we get to the school. So it's just interesting. The more we can involve other aspects, like shopping. We're now going to have a Staples card that the PTA can use online as well and get our pricing too. So whatever we can do to help and get bigger and have more sales, it just is all about the dollar and the numbers, as you know.
So you're kind of like the Sam's Club of school supplies, right? I mean, kind of.
Sure, absolutely. I mean, that is kind of how I'd like to look at it is we can, although our delivery is, I don't have to worry about the delivery. Office Depot and Staples deliver it for us. But it's a show of force. It's however the more schools we get, we're bigger than one district. We can be, it's really nice. And it should be this way. I mean, it's something as fundamental as education. It should be that way. And I just find it really interesting.
So if a school says, man, this sounds like a great idea, what's kind of the process for them to get in touch with you guys, to establish a relationship, to get their school supply list online, all that kind of stuff?
Well, you go to our site's called schoolglue.org, and you can go there and there's a contact us, and you can get a hold of us, send us your lists. You can, online you'll find out how to email them or fax them, however, get them to us. We can put them up. Right now we have 6,800 schools in our database, but we add schools every single day, and you can go and register and add your own school. And when you go, you can check for ABC Elementary, and it'll pop up, and you have your own page. That school has their own page. So they can give us the list, and we'll put them up, or they can put them up themselves. They can build their own kits, and for every single grade, and it'll come up, and they could even put apparel on the site. They can sell whatever they want. It's free. The website's free for them. And that's available to any school. So the easiest way to get a hold of us for sure is to go to schoolglue.org and just contact us is the best way. Or you can just navigate it yourself and register your school, build your kits. But if you have any questions, we're there 24/7.
So then where did Brick by Brick come from?
I was actually, I've got 3 kids, and I was walking one of my kids with our dog and my daughter, and I had read the book Half the Sky, and it's really, really good. I highly recommend it. And I had given it to I sent it to both of my daughters, and my daughter had read it, and she said, I want to build a school in Africa. It's about women and the struggles they go through around the world, essentially, the book is. And she goes, I want to build a school in Africa. How do I do that? And I was like, what a question. I mean, how do you answer that? And I kind of said, well, brick by brick. And that's how the name came about, because I was like, I'd been thinking about doing it, and I thought, if this child had this dream, I mean, why can't I just try it? What is it, what are they going to do but say no? So it was brick by brick, and it just kind of stuck. It was like, I'm going to do it. And that convinced me to do it. That was 7 years ago. So that's where it came about.
So anything else that you can think of that you want to pass on to the audience as far as any other insights or any other info that you think would be valuable to them?
Well, definitely go to schoolglue.org and know that this is a grassroots movement. Like, we really rely on people spreading the word about us, because we're not... It's just a few people trying to make a difference. And essentially, it's, if you have any questions, contact us. We're there. We'll just a grassroots movement here, trying to get to all of the states and get as big as we can to get as best pricing as we can.
So Heather, what's kind of your vision, if you wouldn't mind sharing, in the next 5 to 10 years? I mean, do you see this being more than just kind of the category you're in now?
We do. I mean, I do look at it as a one-stop shop. Like, you can come to, I'm hoping to we've had a lot of schools ask, we do emergency kits, because a lot of schools ask, can you carry emergency kits? Yeah, we'll do that. They've asked for apparel, so we're going to have an apparel section eventually, where we do hope for that, where it is everything that the school would need. Like, even if it's PTA needing to use it to write messages for, it's just where the parents would go to find out any information from the PTA that they needed. I look at fundraising going to be on there, like auctions. I'd like to be able to put auctions up for them eventually. So, there's a lot we can do. Absolutely, because we have a marketplace. We could do shopping. People could, I do see it. We're trying right now to get local businesses to adopt schools, and we're going to have that as part of it. So we can help for the kids who can't afford the supplies, or just as fundraising for schools, So we're trying to get local businesses to join the site, and that seems to be going really well. That's brand new. So we're evolving, and I don't think there's another company out there that's just like this. And if we do it right, if I can do it right, I do want to change the face of fundraising. I do want to kind of help these schools in a way that we haven't seen before.
That's way cool. Man, it's been great getting a chance to meet you and get to know you a little bit. And man, I'm excited just listening.
Aw,
This
thanks.
is pretty neat.
Yeah.
Very, very neat. I got to ask one other question though. Your first appointment, it was you and some stand-ins.
Yes.
What kind of team do you have now, and that type of thing?
We've got just a handful of sales staff in different states because we're in 40 states and stuff. But really, the heart and soul of the company is there's 4 of us. We do everything. Luckily, so much is done on the website now, and with social media, we're just starting out where we're going to have videos, more videos and stuff. So, because it's really hard to get to a lot of PTAs, as you know, and I spend most of my days speaking at PTA meetings, and as we grow, I'm really conscious of costs and everything. I want to keep the prices down for our school, so I try to keep our overhead low and everything. But hey, I'm always interested in those PTA members and parents that are really excited about this stuff. If they want to join in and help out and be part of the team, contact me, please, because I need them. I need them.
Heather, of course, thank you very much for joining us in the School Zone today. It's been a real pleasure, and best of luck to you.
Thanks for listening to the School Zone's School Fundraising Ideas Podcast and for simplifying the search. To stay on top of all we're doing, follow us on Facebook.
There are a lot of kids in this world just like me, except they don't have a way to get any clean drinking water. Clean Water Kids is the kid part of kidsacrosscultures.org, where we ask school kids to be our partner in raising awareness for water projects. Clean water changes kids, which changes schools and changes families. And when we help other kids get clean water, it changes us. Clean water changes everything. Raising money for water filters and other water projects is really easy. We have schools, organizations, and other groups all over who do it. Go to cleanwaterkids.com for more information and ideas on how you can partner with us. Although we focus on schools, you don't have to be a school to help us. You can tell your school, your team, your church, your club, or troop, or whatever you're a part of about cleanwaterkids.com and see how easy it is to help. I think every kid deserves clean water to drink. Don't you? I'm Travis, and I'm a clean water kid.